In the cold dark void of outer space, laws and morals just don't exist, which means it's perfectly acceptable and ethically sound to run at workers at full speed with a large shotgun, cosplaying the Terminator, forcing them to taste the end of your shotgun barrel before blasting them away, chopping them up, and indulging in a little bit of cannibalism, all for an unbranded computer part. And might I say, it's very fun. And that's exactly what we'll be doing in Quasimorph. Set in the not-so-far future, the universe has been taken over by drug lords, Jeff Bezos, and not one, but two versions of Satan. We're a mercenary for hire that can be contracted by Satan himself all the way to the Church of Revelations, which pays in guns and alcohol. And I can only see that going well. We own nothing and risk losing everything every time we leave our ship. And if you think death will save you, well, you're wrong. Not only has our DNA been thoroughly distributed like Genghis Khan's descendants, but every corporation has the ability to reconstruct us as a clone and send us back to the mission we were just killed at, but of course with less gear. And although this is a cool, desolate universe, maybe it's worth saving if everybody is either drunk or dead. Because in the case of being thoroughly intoxicated, Satan's goons, the Quasimorphs, can't spawn. And well, if you're dead, you're dead. So this episode will be siding with the Church of Revelations to not only stay thoroughly intoxicated, but start a holy galactic crusade and purge the universe of the Quasimorphs. So let us begin. Our base of operations is the spaceship, conveniently named His Magnum. His Magnum what? We don't know. We'll be using the ship to fly around the solar system, craft upgrades and gear, change the DNA structure of our clones, but to also accept contracts from whatever faction we decide to sell our soul to. There's a large variety of super corporations to choose from, with different unique armors, weapons, and rewards. For example, SBN System Portal, or SBN for short, is the information monopoly for the entire system. Whether it be a corporation being overthrown, your home planet being ravaged and destroyed, and all its natural resources being taken, or just you want to see some funny cat videos, well, SBN is where you get it. But we're going to be working with the Church of Revelations to combat the Quasimorphs. And yes, that's their name in game. It's not Quasimorphs, but I can't pronounce that, you can't pronounce that, and I'm sure if I tried, I'd summon a Nordic god that kills us all. The Church of Revelations is a religious corporation that likes, well, religious service and profitable media productions. So don't be surprised if you see me doing a TikTok dance in front of a demon for a few extra credits. Every faction in this game is at a constant power struggle with each other to get more power and more tech to give them stronger equipment, which will, in turn, make it easier to take over the universe. But before you deep dive into the loving arms of Satan himself, maybe you should take it easy with a few low-tier missions. I started with a mission to take a prototype from Planet Bridge and, of course, leave with it alive. They would pay me in mining clothes and construction tools, but the best outcome would be a class chip or a mercenary chip. So I created my character Percy because their pain threshold is not only very high, and they have +10 to all resistance. So overall, it'll be safer on my missions. I throw in my balaclava, some armor, I get a shotgun with as much ammo as I can stuff in my pockets, some bandages, and unlabeled meds. The ship dropped us off with the goal of taking a prototype for the first mission, and in my mind, I thought this was going to be a cakewalk. Until the third door I opened had a construction worker behind it that immediately cracked me in the thigh with a wrench, so I released my anchor, not with words, but in the form of buckshot. Maybe this won't be so easy. After bandaging my thigh and handing out free buckshot samples in the next room, I found a scanner that told us exactly where to go. And after getting the floor 2 and blasting another 5 people away, I find the electronic device, which, if you were to ask me, looks like we just killed 20 common workers for what looks like a boombox. And for all the families ruined, we were rewarded with a knife and new pants. What a payday. But the real treasure would come from what we take from the expedition, and that would be a bunch of assorted trash. And we can do 3 things with that trash: let it sit in our storage forever, try to craft something useful with it, or go to the stock exchange and attempt to remember with the 4 remaining brain cells that I have what 3 items in my stash share the same icon as the 100 items on this list. Moving on, I accepted some contracts that consisted of me going to a place, wiping out half the population, and then giggle as I extracted their belongings, to then get rewarded with your dad's hunting rifle and 3 cans of Coca-Cola, and move on to the next mission. And in this context, all seems well, but with one wrong turn in this game comes a very painful, hard, sad, and frustrating experience, and the only person to blame is you. This took place 4 missions after the one you just saw, and, well, it was not pretty. But first, let me catch you up with the political state of the game. The 2 religious groups are doing terrible, one being at the 4th worst corporation and the other at the 6th, with our greatest rival, the Quasimorphs, having over double our power, sitting at the top of the chart. Now maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like God stepped out, or maybe we just need to purge a little bit harder. Or maybe it's the constant intoxication from the entire company that is holding us back, mentally and physically, from success. But at least we're not planet rich, right? Nevertheless, RealWare, the military megacorp, and a rich and posh producer and research corporation are right behind the Quasimorphs, so let's hope they have something up their sleeve. So we go in for another mission with the Church of Revelations. This is a 3 out of 5 mission, so it's going to be the hardest mission we've done so far, but there are big rewards. I throw my tiki hat and armor on, and I get my auto shotgun that I happily took from a box and tested on a senior manager. Turns out everyone's position is the same when put in front of an auto shotgun. I stuff my backpack with as much loose medication, cigarettes, and bags of blood as I can, and it's time to start the mission. This is another simple goal: eliminate 50% of the defenders, so we just started blasting. I would say everything has been going fine in this mission until we showed up in this hallway. If you can't tell by the amount of employees that have been talking to my shotgun, we've had our work cut out for us. But now we're strapped in this hallway with 2 angry, overworked employees looking for compensation, and 1 Quasimorph looking to invert the placement of my guts. And after taking 2 shotgun blasts to the chest and getting smacked with a spiked mallet, I look down at my body to see body lacerations and bone fractures. I quickly block the door, cram as many drugs as I can to my body to stay alive, smoke a pack of cigarettes, yeah, not one, the whole pack, and then I run for my life. Upon getting to the 3rd floor, we're in what I like to call critical condition. So I took a box of the finest worker clothes I could find. I was gonna sell these on the stock market, but I ripped them up and then rebandaged my opening wounds. I walked into the next hallway, confident and ready to get the mission over with, killing 2 clueless idiots before getting bursted by a manager with an SMG and then shot in the back by another with a shotgun. I shot back, killing 1 manager, only to have a Quasimorph burst out of the hold that I shot through their chest. And after trying to run to the door, I was simply beat to death. And although death is very common in this game and nothing to be heard over, it's very hard to resist deleting your save and just starting another. After fighting off the looming feeling of existential dread, I decided maybe I should just switch sides. The drunk religious corporation's not cutting it, so I jumped to the top and started working for the Quasimorphs. And all we had to do was kill a RealWare employee on floor 2. No problem, right? Well, in my absence, they upgraded their robots from shitty steel robots with pipes to full gold-plated robots with shotguns. And to my surprise, when I opened the door, I shot it once and then was met with buckshot in return. But as you can see, it wasn't that big of a problem, and it definitely didn't deter me from doing my job. Moving to the 2nd floor, I almost immediately found a grenade launcher unattended sitting in a box, so I decided to grab it, and the next sad soul was luckily our target. And if you've ever gotten acupuncture before, you probably know what it felt like. Just take away the small needles, add giant pieces of shrapnel, and then have a sumo wrestler belly flop on your body. And for his lackey standing behind him, well, I'd hate to give him a bad case of FOMO, so I shot a grenade at him too. And with that, our mission was done. We were rewarded with 2 cool weapons and a bunch of ammo, and the growing realization that maybe the only way to salvation for this tortured universe is the dark side. Anyway, I sped up the time of the game to see how the corporations would pan out, and 2 to 3 years later, there was a big dramatic difference. Sunlight Coven, one of the 2 religious corporations, is at the very, very bottom of the list. The Church of Revelations is surprisingly in the 4th slot on the list, but still 5 times less power than the Quasimorphs and Realware. I suppose the Quasimorphs' energy weapons were never really cut out to fight a minigun. And with that, I'd say our universe isn't in shambles, but it's not far from where it started. I guess we just live in a world where there's chest bursters in everybody. With that being said, I can't thank you all enough for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Stay hydrated as always, subscribe, and don't let the Quasimorphs get to you. I'll see you in the next one.